Hi everyone, I'm Sarah, and I want to talk about what happens at the crossroads of economic policy and our nation's moral standards. Do we choose to open trade to countries whose human rights records fall far below our own standards? Let's use the most recent example of the reestablishment of diplomatic relations between the U.S. and Cuba. In 1962, the U.S. placed a permanent embargo on Cuba. Fast forward to 2015, when Presidents Barack Obama and Raul Castro restored diplomatic relations. So what has the U.S. seen since then? We have seen the island's designation as a sponsor of state terrorism rescinded. We have seen an increase in ability to transact with Cuban businesses, all owned by the Cuban government, and we've seen U.S. banks opening accredited accounts in Cuban banks, again, owned by the Cuban government. And what has Cuba seen since then? Cuba has seen a constitution that still states freedom of expression is allowed, so long as it keeps with the objectives of a socialist society. We have seen the arbitrary detention rate hit 10,000, the highest it's been in 7 years, and we've seen the highest per capita rate of suicides, abortions, and refugees in the Western Hemisphere. So how can we stop this? What do we do? The U.S. must demand that Cuba and the Castro regime give and not only take. That means everyone, including political prisoners, receives full freedom of expression and access to information, along with free elections. We also must see privately owned businesses receive rights and protections. Now, some argue that this hard stance against Cuba is extreme. But the goal is not to punish Cuba. The goal is to create a democratic future for Cuba, a future in which we as Americans can be certain that our economic policy did not sponsor another nation's mistreatment of its people. And just as our foreign policy dictates that we do not negotiate with terrorists, so must our economic policy state that we do not afford the strength of American businesses to corrupt governments. Thank you.